You dealing with a young 20-year-old conniving, manipulative, low-down, white. I'm talking about a dirty, funky hunky.
Charleston White is a man who never pulls his punches. And when the news broke that Shannon Sharpe was being hit with a $50 million lawsuit, Charleston did what Charleston does. Grabbed the mic and called it how he saw it.
I don't think these white people sent this white girl to get you. I think you like raw meat. You like raw, you like your steak medium rare. I like mine well done, black like the cook. I'm talking about no pink. I like mine. Now I used to like white girl. Yeah, cause my daddy like white girl. So I want to kind of be like my daddy. Yeah, I used to like white girl.
For years, Charleston has positioned himself as the loudest, rawest voice of accountability in Black entertainment. And with Shannon Sharpe's reputation now under fire, Charleston saw a man he had long criticized finally caught in a storm of his own making. Let's start with the situation. Recently, someone filed a 13-page civil lawsuit accusing Shannon Sharpe of sexual battery stemming from an alleged incident in 2021 under the name Jane Doe, who is definitely not Gabriela Zuniga, the OnlyFans model, and OnlyFans models totally never go to extremes for money. Am I right? Shannon Sharpe has denied the allegations, calling it all a shakedown and claiming they are nothing more than an extortion attempt.
This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets Black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
In response, Sharpe attempted to clear his name through social media. He posted a series of alleged text messages and interactions between himself and the accuser that, according to him, show their relationship was consensual. These were posted to his Instagram and Twitter accounts, and while some fans rallied behind him, others weren't convinced. And that's where Charleston White entered the chat with the kind of commentary that only he can deliver. He said that Shannon Sharpe never should have been in this position to begin with. In Charleston's eyes, it wasn't just about the lawsuit, it was about the image Sharpe spent decades building, now being dragged through the mud. For years, Shannon had been the polished suit on TV, the disciplined voice of reason on Undisputed, and the wise elder on his podcast, Club Shay Shay. But this situation cracked that image wide open, and Charleston wasn't about to let it slide. He pointed out that Sharpe has previously spoken about avoiding risky scenarios, especially those involving women, because of how damaging even a false accusation could be to a Black man in the public eye. Charleston referenced Sharpe's own past statements about keeping his image clean, about moving carefully, about being aware of his status. But now, with this lawsuit, Charleston said it looked like Sharpe had broken his own rules. And for someone who built his entire second career on maturity and discipline, that contradiction was, in Charleston's words, disappointing.
You all know better, Shannon. Much shit is you talking, like you say you won't even get on the elevator with a woman by yourself.
If I'm on the elevator by myself and a woman steps on, I'll get off.
White women only or Black women?
It doesn't matter.
How you at the gym and you let this 20-year-old, damn near teeny bopper, little old young white get you 50 mil? You offered a pink toe Peckerwood 10 million.
He was not sugarcoating anything. He said Shannon Sharpe is out of touch with the streets, with reality, and with the truth about how dangerous fame can really be for Black men in America. To Charleston, Shannon's fall from grace wasn't just bad luck, it was inevitable. And Charleston White certainly wasn't a fan of Shannon Sharpe's response, accusing Gabriela Zuniga's lawyer, Tony Busby, of targeting Black men and having a history of doing so. Charleston mocked Shannon for even thinking that posting things like videos and text messages online would fix the situation. In Charleston's view, a man with as much to lose as Shannon Sharpe should have been thinking 2 steps ahead at all times. You can't claim to be wise and experienced on camera, then move sloppy off camera. Charleston wasn't celebrating the allegations, although he did laugh quite a bit, but he was making a point, a harsh one. He said Shannon forgot who he was, forgot the environment he came from. Charleston said that in trying to impress the corporations, the talk shows, the influencers, and the mainstream press, Shannon lost the very instincts that used to protect him. Charleston White's critique wasn't just personal, it was cultural. He painted Shannon Sharpe as an example of what happens when Black men put faith in fame instead of community. To Charleston, this wasn't about football or even about Shannon's role on TV. It was about identity. He believes that when Black men reach a certain level of success, they often feel pressure to conform to corporate standards, to behave a certain way, speak a certain way, wear certain suits, smile at the right camera, and avoid the wrong headlines. He stressed that public figures have to play defense before the game even starts. If you're famous, especially as a Black man, You don't get the benefit of the doubt. You get headlines. You get Twitter threads. You get dissected and criticized, sometimes before a single fact is confirmed. And that's why, in his view, Shannon should have been more careful, not just about his actions, but about his proximity to risk. He went further, saying Shannon's biggest mistake wasn't the alleged encounter itself, it was thinking he could operate like a regular person while carrying the weight of a public persona. Charleston warned that if you move like an ordinary man while living in an extraordinary spotlight, you set yourself up for a crash. Another major theme Charleston kept coming back to was legacy. He talked about how long Shannon had worked to become more than just an athlete, about how he transformed himself into a respected voice in media, someone who speaks on politics, social issues, and the culture. And now, all of that is in jeopardy. This wasn't just commentary, it was a warning. Charleston wasn't speaking from a place of malice. He was speaking from a place of hard truth. He's seen too many figures fall, too many careers vanish, too many reputations destroyed by either poor judgment or bad luck, or both. And he wants his audience to understand that in the world we live in, reputation is fragile. It's glass. One crack, and it's done. Charleston didn't just place the spotlight on Shannon's behavior. He also turned it toward the system itself. He reminded viewers that the legal system in America has never been neutral territory for Black men. History has shown that accusations alone can stain a legacy, regardless of the outcome in court. Charleston made it clear, when the accuser is a white woman and the accused is a famous Black man, the public reaction often shifts before any real evidence is considered. He said that in today's climate, perception moves faster than the law. He said, once a story breaks, especially one as sensational as a $50 million lawsuit, it travels fast. People form opinions even before hearing the details. And for someone like Shannon Sharpe, whose career is now deeply tied to public image, that kind of scandal can be devastating. Even if he's later cleared, Charleston also took time to address Sharpe's fan base, those who had supported him through his transition from athlete to cultural figure. He questioned how many of them would stay loyal now that the sheen of perfection was gone. In his eyes, this was the danger of fame. The loyalty isn't to the person, it's to the brand, and brands break fast under controversy. What Charleston found particularly frustrating, and made sure to repeat, was that this didn't have to happen. According to him, the fall wasn't a setup. It was self-sabotage. Shannon Sharpe, he said, had all the tools to protect himself. Money, experience, legal access, publicists, a team. And yet, he still ended up being vulnerable to the exact thing he warned others about. Charleston also clowned Shannon for hanging out with someone like Gabriela Zuniga, claiming that real, experienced women, like those in strip clubs or the streets, know how to keep it player and don't get involved in lawsuits.
See, this is why I be in the strip club having fun with them, because Jesus kept up. Named Mary Magdalene. Oh, got to walk with Jesus and his 12 disciples.
He argues Shannon's mistake-filtered style. Charleston jokes that even Jesus didn't hang around square women. He had Mary Magdalene, a woman who knew how the world worked. He says Shannon should have stuck with real ones who wouldn't turn on him. He made it clear that he doesn't wish downfall on Shannon Sharpe. In the end, Charleston White's critique of Shannon Sharpe wasn't about guilt or innocence. It was about judgment, about awareness, about legacy. He didn't claim to know what happened between Shannon and the woman behind the lawsuit, but he did know this. Once the world starts watching, there's no such thing as a private mistake. As the legal case plays out, Shannon Sharpe will continue to defend his name. The outcome remains uncertain, but what's already clear is that the impact on his image has been immediate. And Charleston White, whether you love him or hate him, just turned that impact into a broader conversation. One about power, risk, image, and the steep cost of missteps in the public eye. The takeaway? Protect your name before you have to defend it. Because when the spotlight turns cold and the headlines turn cruel, the world won't remember how perfect you were. They'll remember how fast you fell. Anyway, if you enjoyed this breakdown, then make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one.